Do you have a child who it feels like is always kind of pushing back on you for your rules and boundaries? If you're a parent or a guardian or a caregiver, chances are you have a child who's pushing on the rules because that's what kids do. Certainly, our teenagers push against our rules. Our children who are neurodiverse, ADHD, autism, push against the rules. Our kids who have experienced trauma often really struggle to confine themselves to the rules and boundaries of other people because of their feelings of safety. So if you're struggling with a child who's pushing on your rules and boundaries, here's a couple things to think about. The first one might surprise you. Do you have too many rules in your house? I know I've fallen into that trap where I have just too many rules. I tend to be a little overly structured as a parent, and if I look at it, sometimes I think I've got rules that don't necessarily need to be there. Here's another thing. Obviously, we make sure that there's safety, we keep track of safety, but is there room for our kids to grow in the rules that we have? Hopefully there's room for your child to grow. What that might look like is there room to compromise and talk about the rules? Is there a room to say, this is the rule for right now? Perhaps it's a curfew or a screen limit time. And I'll be watching to see that you're making good choices and we're developing trust, and you'll get more privileges as our kids get older and they've demonstrated good choices, right? So our rules shouldn't necessarily be stagnant for some things. There are some things that might stay a rule their whole childhood or their whole time in our house, but other things should be able to flex and grow. The other thing that comes to my mind is, in my house, I know sometimes I've had rules that affect one child, and that child is struggling and pushing against the rule. But when I really zoom out a little bit and analyze it, that rule was to protect myself from other kids complaining, arguing, or fighting. So, one example that comes to mind is I have a child who loves to sing and make a lot of noise in the car. Now, it's not inherently wrong or bad to sing and make noise in the car, but I have another child who's very sensitive and it bothers that child to have the singing and the noise. So then I made a rule that was no singing in the car. And why did I make that rule? I really made it because of my second child's sensitivities to the noise and for my own sensitivity to their fighting. Because if child one is singing, child two is going to get mad about it, then it's going to be stressful and frustrating for me. So it's kind of a dumb rule, right? No singing in the car. You can tell me it's a dumb rule. So when I looked at that, it's the second child that really needs to make some adjustments. It's not wrong to sing in the car. Maybe we need to have some compromise. Maybe there's some time where it's quiet. Maybe there's some time when we're singing to the radio or just singing, and there's room for us all to flex and to be more patient. And that's a growing opportunity for my second child. So think about the rules in your home and your child who's pushing against them. What can you do and make a difference? Do you want to reevaluate your rules? Are there some rules that you can let go of? We have lots of rules sometimes that don't necessarily make sense. Is there someone else in the situation that your rule is really trying to protect their comfort level? Is there room for growth there? Is there room for growth for your child who's pushing against the rules in the rule that they're pushing against? Is there an opportunity for them to grow with safe choices, grow in their privileges, and expand their independence? I'm Dana Parisi with Lives Touched. If you want to touch base with me about rules or your child who's pushing the boundaries, or you're struggling, you're in a season of struggle with a child who is just really giving you a run for your money when it comes to rules, they're sneaking around, they're getting past you, maybe they just seem really defiant or rude, send me a message. I would love to get you connected with my free 5-day fast start to helping families get a handle on those tough behaviors, improving your relationship, and really starting to turn the tide in your home. Thanks so much.